Yesterday, I dropped in on one of our new cleaners with my manager, Stacey, just to do a routine quality inspection, and I realized something. This house was in a new area, one of these new developments in my city, and there were so many brand new builds out there, so many new families out there, and it just made me realize that was the perfect place to go door knocking. And so right after I went and did that inspection with Stacey, I just went and knocked on a few doors on the neighboring houses down that street, and we got 4 quotes just in that half hour I went around door knocking. And it was just crazy to me because I had no idea this development was even going on. I had no idea this new suburb had even opened up, and it was only like 10 minutes away from our hotspot in Bunbury where we operate our business. And as soon as I got there, I just looked around and I'm like, wow, this is like our dream customer. This is like our dream suburb with our dream customers. I was just looking and there's like new families everywhere. They got new cars. They've got babies. I saw a lot of prams, and it's just like, that is our dream customer. People who they're just starting out their lives, or in their late 20s or their early 30s, or late 30s even. They've probably just had their first kid, or they got one on the way. They're both working, and like that is like 90% of our customer base. And so when I got to this new development, I saw all of this going on around me, and I was like, this is a massive honeypot that I need to capitalize on. So as soon as I did that inspection with Stacey, I was straight out the door knocking on some other houses, and I got Stacey to do it as well. She actually got 2 quotes of her own, and it just opened my eyes up so much. And I was like, I need to be more in touch with what's going on around me, because now I'm thinking bigger. I'm thinking about all the other new developments that are going on, and I'm realizing that our dream customers are now going into these new developments because that's exactly who our demographic is, and that's what they're doing right now. Our demographic is building houses. They're moving into new homes, and they're getting their first homes, and they're doing all that stuff, and they're starting to settle down and have their family. And so just from that half an hour in this new suburb, we got 6 quotes. We've already closed 3 of them, still waiting to hear back on 3 others because they weren't ready at the time, which I know is like an objection, but it was whatever. We were just moving around. We didn't want to waste too much time. But we're going to be going back into this suburb and pretty much going on all the doors, going around all the houses and knocking on everyone's doors, and just going in there with a simple script, saying, hey, I'm Jason with Enhanced Cleaning. We're just doing some cleaning in the area. And we're actually doing a house a few doors down. We just wanted to stop by and ask if you'd be interested in getting a quote for some ongoing cleaning for your home. That's all it is. That's all it takes. You just have to go in there, ask them. If they say no, don't try to fight it. Don't try to be Mr. Salesman or Miss Salesman and go in there and try to fight the objection. Just move on to the next one, because we want to go for volume. We don't want to waste half an hour talking to someone who probably doesn't want us in there. We just want to go straight away to the next house, knock on their door, ask if they want a quote. If they do, cool. If they don't, on to the next one. But if you're someone who does residential cleaning, especially on a weekly or fortnightly basis, you've probably got the exact same customer demographic as what we do. You're probably starting to think about that now, and you're starting to realize that, oh yeah, most of our customers are like dual income, like no one's ever home. They've got young kids, or they've got a kid on the way, that sort of thing. And so think about where these people are going. These people are going into their first homes, or their forever home. And these are usually out in the newer developments because they're offering lots of incentives, and there's just so much density out in the other areas that they kind of have to be going into the new developments in order to get a build. So look around your area, see what's going on, see if there's any new suburbs or developments that you can get your hands into. Just go around door knocking. Just ask them straight up, like, hey, my name's whatever. I'm with XYZ company, just in the area doing some cleaning, wondering if you would like to get a free quote. No obligation. So that's what we're doing now. We're going to go through this suburb sometime next week, and we're going to go through and just knock on every single door, because we got a great conversion rate on what we did there. I think we only went around and knocked on 12 doors, and we probably got half of them to let us in and do a quote. So really cool stuff. It's something that may seem obvious, and it's kind of obvious in hindsight to me, is that I should have known that this was going on, and I should have been in there straight away. But yeah, now we've got this great new market, which is this new development, and we're just going to go in there and pretty much own it. We're going to get in before anyone else does. We're going to get a foot in the door. We're going to do a great job for all these people. They're going to talk about it amongst themselves. They're going to give us reviews. It's going to cut down on our travel time because we can send one cleaner out to knock all these houses out in the same week on the same schedule. And it's just a win-win-win for everyone. So we're going to definitely stay in the loop more with what's going on in the residential market with all the new builds, because Australia really is in a big boom right now with housing. Everyone thinks it's a crisis, but it just means there's more demand than ever, which means new homes are going to be propping up left, right, and center. So yeah, we're going to be staying on top of that. That's like a really big thing that we want to get ahead of in order to explode the residential side of the business, because it's just when I went and did that and I just knocked on a few doors and got a couple of quotes, I was thinking like we would have to spend like $40, $50, $60 doing online advertising to get these leads and to get these quotes. And it's less predictable. Like you can't really predict when someone is going to come to your website from an ad and click on the button and get a quote. And it's just not as quick. Like I went from doing this inspection on one of our cleaners to knocking on a door the next minute. And a couple of minutes later, I had a new customer. Like it's that quick. You just go around knocking on doors in new suburbs. A lot of these homes are so new, like they've only just moved into them a couple of weeks or a couple of months ago. They haven't had time to think about getting a house cleaner in or figuring out who their local service people are. And beyond that, there's actually a lot of cool other things that you can do. Is you can joint venture with other businesses like a lawnmower. You could even go a bit further than that and even get in touch with some like physiotherapists, dentists, and all these sorts of things. Because a lot of these people who are moving into these new suburbs are probably moving in from out of state or from a different city. And so they're not going to know anyone. They're not going to know, they don't know any businesses. They don't know what's good, what's not. They don't know what the good local services are. So you can do a JV with other businesses and say, hey, I'm going to get you a lot of new customers in this new area. Just give me a percentage of whatever leads I get you. Or you can just pay me like, $50 a lead. And you can actually make a lot of money just by palming these leads off to other people in your area. And if you're too busy to do it yourself, you can just find another person who does something similar to what you do and just sell them the leads. All you have to do is go door knocking, say, hey, would you like us to give you a quote? Oh, by the way, I also know a great dentist in town if you're new here and you're unsure of where to go. Just stuff like that. There's so many different ways you can go into these new places and make a lot of money. And there's also a really cool website called CoreLogic, which actually gives you a list of new movers in your city. So you can go on CoreLogic every day or every week or every month, look at all the new homes that have been established or houses that have been sold recently or bought recently. And then you can go to these addresses, put a little flyer in their letterbox or on the door that just says, hey, we're cleaning in the area, call us or book online and get a free quote. And most of the time, these people have just moved into their house. They're not going to already have a cleaner. They're not going to know what other cleaners are out there. And most of the time, they'll just go for the first person that they come across. So if you can get your foot in the door, no pun intended, and if you can get right into people's laps before they can have a chance to go anywhere else, then you're going to win all that business before anyone's had a chance to compete with you. So it's a really cool, I call it a media or a medium. It's basically a media in my mind is just a group of your ideal customers where they congregate. So, Facebook is a media, the newspaper is a media, a new local development in your city is a medium or a media. So that's just a cool thing that we've kind of been geeking out on recently, something that we want to dive into more, starting to look at all the newer estates in our city that are propping up and using that to leverage our existing residential business and boosting that up more, because we've been so focused on the commercial side that we haven't really been thinking much about the house cleaning side of things. But there is a lot of money in these new areas if you can get in early on, and there's so many cool ways that you can actually make more money on the side and upsell people and do joint ventures with other businesses. And it's just good sales practice. If you go door knocking, the worst that people can say is no. And the worst thing that can happen to you is that you learn something. You learn how to speak to people. You learn how to sell face to face, because it is very different to being on the phone or over email. And it's a really valuable skill that you will build over time. Once you knock on enough doors, it's not something I've done a lot of, but just from doing a couple of houses, I've kind of gotten a feel for what to say to people. And selling is the most valuable skill in the world, because if you know how to sell, then you can write your own ticket. you'll be fine. You'll never have to worry about a thing again. So go knock on some doors. I don't know. Go find some new suburbs that are propping up in your area, and just get that sales muscle exercising. Go out, knock on some doors, ask people if they want to get a free quote. If they say no, cool, move on to the next one. Keep going down until you knocked out every house in the area, and I can pretty much guarantee that you're going to get a couple of clients from doing that, especially if you're going into these newer developments. So go give that a go. Check out CoreLogic if you thought that sounded cool. You can just Google CoreLogic and it'll come up. So you can get a list of all the new movers, and you can go do some flyer drops in their letterboxes and put stuff on their doorknobs. And you can actually get Australia Post to do that if you don't want to go to the houses. You can just build a list of all the new movers and, just send them in the mail. Another cool thing Australia Post can do, if you didn't already know this, is you can just go in there, give them like 1,000 copies of a pamphlet, and just tell them that you want to get this in every letterbox in a certain suburb. And they'll charge you a flat fee per letter. It might be 5 cents a letter. And they'll actually go and deliver that letter to literally every house in a suburb if you want them to. You can even do it if you have enough money and you want to go that big. You can actually do it in like an entire suburb or an entire city. So that's another cool thing you can do. But yeah, I hope this got the wheels in your head spinning. Hope it got you thinking about some things you can try for yourself in your business. And I'll talk to you in the next episode of Self-Made, which I think is episode 10. So I'll do something cool for that. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me again. And I appreciate you giving up your time to listen to me speak. So see you in the next one.